morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Seema Gupta, convener of today's webinar. It is a moment of extreme pleasure for me to welcome the guests who are present here to attend this webinar. On behalf of Kalindi College, I welcome Professor R.K. Mittal, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Chaudhry Bansilal University, Bhiwani, and Professor B.K. Kaul, Department of Finance and Business Economics, Delhi University. Professor Kaul is also GB member of our Kalindi College. I extend my warm welcome to our principal ma'am, Dr. Naina Hasija, at this webinar. I am thoroughly pleased to witness huge number of faculty members, non-teaching staff, and students all here. I welcome all the participants. We all have gathered here today to attend this webinar on the topic Geopolitics of Vaccine, Access, R&D, and Manufacturing under the slogan Humanity's Call Vaccination for All. This webinar is organized by our college in collaboration with Universal Access for Vaccine and Medicine and Swadeshi Shodh Sansthan. This webinar is the vision of Professor Kaul, and he extended wholehearted support to make it a success. More than 400 registrations itself speak for it. The world is witnessing a health crisis due to COVID-19. Vaccination will be the only way in which a society will be able to safeguard the health and wealth of its members in the face of pandemic. There is an urgent need for removing artificial barriers like patents and intellectual property rights on vaccine manufacture to rectify the global vaccine inequality and attain health security for all. Our esteemed speakers would address this issue and present their views on geopolitics of vaccine. May I now request our principal ma'am, Dr. Naina Hasija, to welcome our guests and say a few words.
Thank you, Seema ji. Good morning, all. Respected Professor Kaul, Professor Rajkumar ji, and our chairperson, Mrs. Rajni Nagpal, their teachers, non-teaching staff, and students. It's really a matter for all of us that we have organized this webinar on which we are going to have the pleasure of listening to two esteemed guests. As we all know that COVID-19 has wreaked havoc in our country as well as in the world, and vaccination is being seen as the only alternative to prevent the further spread of this disease. India has begun the next phase of vaccination yesterday only, where the government, central government has started vaccination for all those who are above the age of 18. And they have also, central government has also pleased that they are going to increase the supply of vaccination multifold now, and there will be no scarcity of this. Government will provide this vaccination facilities at all the government centers. This for COVID vaccine, public has three choices: COVID Shield, COVID vaccine, and Sputnik. They can choose any of these, and the purpose of, the manufacturing, the engineering of these vaccines may be different, but the purpose of all of them is the same: to prevent the further spread. On this positive note, I hope that all of us are vaccinated very soon and we can stop the further spread of COVID. So I again welcome our guest, and we are eagerly waiting to listen to Professor Kaul and Professor Rajkumar. Professor Kaul, namaskar sir. आप इतने पॉपुलर हैं, हमें लोगों को कहना पड़ा प्लीज छोड़िए प्लेटफॉर्म.
मैं पॉपुलर हूँ और ये बेसिकली द टॉपिक इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग.
Topic is
Yes, sir.
Very interesting, and moreover for the last 1.5 years we are facing a big challenge. The lives and livelihood is affected by this. So it's a very important. Everyone is affected. Our educational systems have been collapsed completely. The economy has collapsed. Economy is to revive. So many challenges we are facing. So definitely people are interested to know something more about this.
Yes.
Start करें.
बिल्कुल sir.
I will introduce you first, sir, to the audience. Thank you, Naina ma'am, for your encouragement and support. It is my privilege to work under your guidance. Whenever I seek any help, you immediately support it. Thank you, ma'am. So it's my privilege to introduce Professor V.K. Kaul. Professor V.K. Kaul is professor in Department of Business Economics, University of Delhi. He has 42 years of experience in teaching, learning, and research. He was head of the department, dean of faculty of applied social sciences, member of academic council, member Delhi University Board, chief election officer, TUSU, and member of several selection committees of different institutions. Professor Kaul also served as chairman and member governing body of several Delhi University colleges. He has authored many books, book chapters, research papers, and several articles in popular magazines and newspapers. He is recipient of the awards and fellowship from Government of South Korea, European Union, and Shaskil Indo-Canadian, uh, Calgary, Canada. He has successfully completed 7 research projects from several national international agencies, including ICSSR, European Union, Ministry of Science and Technology, and Government of Punjab. He has guided 23 PhD scholars and 20 MPhil students. He has also been associated with several academic reforms initiated by many institutions as member of several committees. Presently, his research interests are Indology, geoeconomics, and geopolitics. It's an honor to have Professor Kaul with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Seema. Thank you, Dr. Naina, for organizing and inviting me. Organizing this seminar, this webinar, it's a very, very important topic. We see that because for the last 1.5 years, we are facing this pandemic. It's a global crisis, health crisis that has turned out to be a economic and social crisis. And all the efforts are being made to bring an end to this. And to bring an end to this pandemic, only solution is vaccine. So this vaccine, then why this when it is accepted by everyone that the vaccine is important, is the only solutions, and vaccinating all people in the world is the aim. Global vaccination programs, they are aiming at this. Then what type of problems we are facing? Why it is not happening? Why it is delaying? Why people are debating, discussing? We are also discussing. So there is a lot of politics on this, because generally, say when we say it's a geopolitics of vaccine, geopolitics is basically it's a use of diplomacy, military power, strategic asset to gain economic and political, to get economic and political gains from this. There is a lot of asymmetries among the countries. So there are countries, some of the countries, they have developed a vaccine, they have a very good R&D network, R&D system, R&D capabilities, they have a good manufacturing facilities, and they have developed this vaccine. So because of that, this strategic asset, they are using it. In fact, there are some experts, they are saying this vaccine is as strategic as nuclear weapon. Even that Trump was also saying it is very important for our national security. So say, so we find this back now. It is not as a military power, but as a vaccine also, because everywhere the things, the lives and livelihood has come to stand still. So to bring this end to this pandemic, to end this crisis, the vaccine is important. So basically, we find this it's a global crisis. Global crisis need a global efforts, cooperations, and the sharing of knowledge, so that to develop medicine, to manufacture medicine, to distribute that vaccines and technologies, but at a affordable cost. But we find there are some issues which we are facing, and especially we find some of the big pharma companies and the countries owning these pharma companies, they are becoming very powerful, they are becoming dominating, and especially in this case, the name of China, Russia, even Israel is also coming. Israel, though Israel is a very small country, they are also using it in a strategic way, this vaccine. So the main thing is, it is this plague, pandemic, epidemic. They are not new things in the human existence. We find it's a from we have been facing these things, and the humans, they have a one capability. They record, they learn from the past. They uh, they they are also adapting to these new changes. They are also transferring the knowledge to the new generations. So that because of that they are surviving also. So survival of this humanity is at present is linked with the vaccines. A vaccination vaccinating all the people in the world, and then we know that the total population of the world is around 7.3 billion people, and we need around 15 billion doses. So vaccinating all is becoming a very big challenge. So it requires a lot of supply of these vaccines, and this supply depends on manufacturing. Manufacturing depends on R&D. So this title of this theme is that geopolitics, that access is ultimate, is the solution very important, and that requires R&D capabilities, and then manufacturing. And we find that everywhere there are some issues. So in order to understand and to resolve these issues, so we are discussing, we are to understand where is the issues, what type of solution is possible. So I'll start with this pandemic also. Though Simaji has discussed, principal has also discussed that the pandemic, and we are facing this pandemic, and we know that how devastating it has been. There are around 180 million people have been affected world over, and in the world around 4 million people have died. Even in India also we find it's around 3 crore people have been affected. Around 4 lakhs people have died. So it's a very massive, it's a affecting lives, and this is a lives. But at the same time, we know that in the GDP also, the GDP has also affected, economy has affected, and we have faced last year also. In the first quarter, our GDP declined by more than I think 33, 28% decline. Overall decline for the whole year is minus 7.3%. So it's a life. We say that the lives and livelihoods both have been affected by this. So the end of this crisis through vaccine is very important. So we are having this movement also. There is a need to encourage people to go for vaccination. There is a need to develop a communication strategy also. There is a need to do something wherever there is some hurdles, some problems in the way of vaccinating the people. So how the global efforts can do. So basically ours is also effort. Basically when you are organizing a webinar, this is also an effort in this direction, that we are disseminating the knowledge, we are making people aware of these issues also. So basically it's a increasing knowledge, awareness is also important, because we find there is a vaccine hesitancy is also there. We are talking about geopolitics, but at a internal economy level, and even it's not a India, all over the world we find there is a hesitancy also. So no, they say disseminating the knowledge is also very important. And one more thing related to the importance of this issue is the economists. Very recently, the economists has come up in their issues. They have said basically they are talking about that how important it is, and how this global efforts should be made in this direction. So they have said that if all these G7 countries, basically they released this before the G7 countries, and they are saying this is a deal of the century for democracy and the free societies, to vaccinate, to allow vaccinating all the people, and they are saying it will require around $50 billion, and they are saying that when all these G7 countries they spend $50 billion, the return over a period of 4 years up to 2025 will be as high as they are saying $9 trillion. So basically, you see that you can take it another way also. If we are not investing money up to $50 billion, we are losing around $9 trillion economic wealth also. So and they are saying this $50 billion is around 0.13% of the GDP of G7 countries. And even otherwise also they are saying that G7 countries they are spending one fifth of this amount every year on other countries. So they are saying it is a deal, very important deal for the large, big, rich countries to help this global vaccination programs. So that shows that the efforts are there is a politics, there is also efforts in this direction so that to help people to go for vaccinations and there are a number of global players also. It's a basically this vaccination of all these people is important. We are the we are what we are saying is that the science is important, epidemiology is important. It's not geopolitics. So geopolitics should be avoided. But can we avoid that? We find that geopolitics is always there. Wherever there is a power, there is a asymmetry of powers, capabilities, assets. So there will be some politics also. So understanding that politics, global politics, geopolitics is important. That is the aim of this seminar also. That the goal is global vaccination programs, and then what type of hurdles are coming at a global level. Understand that, and we that Nanaji has already discussed about TRIPS and the WTO. That is a very important effort where we can increase the access of this vaccine also, making it patent free or that is a movement also going on. Even our Swadeshi Jagran Manch in India and number of other NGOs. There was a on Sunday there was a global awakening day also. All over India it was celebrated that patent free this vaccine should be given. Even all over the world also this movement is going. Large number of NGOs they are coming in the coming and supporting this move also. So what type of geopolitics is there? What are the issues? Issue is that basically that vaccination is important. It should be all the people of the world should be vaccinated. But at the same time, we find the issue that is coming. Say China. China has a power. They have also developed vaccines. Russia has also developed vaccines. Israel has also developed. India has also developed, and America, Pfizer, they have also developed. But particularly the name of these three countries coming, especially the China. China is using this vaccine development that the cause of vaccinations because the poor countries they need that because the main point of this is that the access, the R&D, the manufacturing is not available to all the countries. There is a lot of disparities among the countries, inequity when we talk about that there are very few countries they have a R&D capabilities. There are few countries they have a manufacturing capabilities. So it's others how they are going to get vaccine. So this country like China, they are exploiting them. They are going to supply this vaccine to those countries who are a part of their Belt Road Initiative. They are saying that if you join this and if you are part of this, you will be given vaccines. This is what they are saying. Similarly, there is a one more instances in case of Paraguay. They are saying that Paraguay has a relationship with Taiwan. So China is saying that we will give you vaccine if you cut your relationship dealing with the Taiwan. Similarly, even the Brazil also. Brazil decided not to participate in the 5G rollout over by the Chinese companies. They have not allowed Chinese companies. So China has particularly has informed them if you are really interested our vaccines, so you allow our Chinese companies to have a 5G technologies. So these are the some of the things. Even in case of Russia, also they are also having a relationship many people, and they are also interested to have some economic gains or political gains. Similarly, even in case of Israel, also it is surprising that they are saying something very different. They are saying because Israel has now announced a Jerusalem also it's a capital. Now Washington has shifted their offices there. So they are saying to number of there are some of the countries that you shift your embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem because Jerusalem is a controversial area because the Philistines and they are fighting for that. So these type of politics are there. So we need to understand this politics. People are saying that over a period of time, suppose this pandemics continue, and we need vaccine, and it is very much there. When we see the virus is mutating and it's taking new shapes over a period of times, maybe that new virus will come, and we know that So bio-warfare is also there. There is a big threat of bio-warfare, bioterrorism. So new vaccine, new things will, virus will be generated, created. So we need a capabilities. We need a capabilities of developing new vaccines. So India and China, they are saying that in the future they will be in a better position. They can also bring a, some global order change because I think I would like to inform you that India is producing a around 62% of the global vaccine. India is a very big major player, very major player. Basically, they have been exporting right now because of the second wave of pandemic. They stopped that exporting, and now they are saying that they will resume that export after in the month of October. So they are saying, some people are saying, some experts they are predicting that because if this pandemic continues or there some new viruses comes, so country like India and China can also bring a lot of change in the global order. So these are all some political things which are happening. It has a lot of implications. Its implication is that India should spend some more money in R&D. It's very very important. We should strengthen our R&D capabilities. We should, and basically this 130 billion people cannot be dependent on any other countries as far as the vaccine is concerned or some medicine is concerned. It's very important that whenever there are new viruses coming, we should have a capabilities to develop our vaccine also. So this for India it is becoming very very important. So these are all about this basically the introduction that what are the issues involved and the vaccine is there. Something I would like to tell you about the global player. When we talk about the geopolitics, global, who are the global player? So all these nation states and group of nations like G7, G20, they are big players. WHO is a very big player. WTO is also a very big player. Big pharmaceutical industry is a big player. At the same time, there are some new types of platform has been created, where global efforts has been made by the UN, by WHO, etc. Gavi is there. Global Alliances for Vaccine is there. It was created in the year 2002. It's playing a very important role in helping doing research and developing vaccines and distributing vaccines. There is another CEPI. It's a Coalitions for Pandemic Preparedness Innovations. This group was started in the year 2007, and there is a COVAX. COVAX is also created by the WHO, EU, and the France, and it is being coordinated by Gavi and this CEPI. So basically, and their overall focus aim is to develop vaccines and then distribute that vaccine to the poor people. In fact, the COVAX has aimed that they will release around 2 billion doses to poor countries, and they are distributing this on the basis of the population of the different countries. Even that when America and other countries they have decided that they will donate around 1 billion doses. So some part of that will through this COVAX also. So these are the some of the global efforts made by some of the countries and big countries and other countries that to help people vaccinate and develop this vaccine also. Basically, this COVAX has a largest diversified portfolio of vaccines. They are developing, and I think around 19 are under development. Some have developed, so they are using that to distribute to different countries. So we find whatever was their target, they have not been able to achieve their target. They have, because of again this nationalism of vaccine nationalism and hoarding by the large companies. They were interested to use we were Pfizer's vaccine also, but when they approached, it was already the large orders were placed by the developed countries. So number of issues are involved, but the main thing is that these different players are also there. There are some players who are getting a hurdle, but at the same time, there are some global efforts to help vaccinating the people, distribute this. even to they are investing money also. COVAX has invested given money for R&D also for developing vaccines. So these are the efforts of global players, even NGOs, research institutes, civil society. They are also a very important players in this whole game of power games. Also, the ultimate aim is vaccination, but all of them, they are also playing important. So in case of say R&D, I would like to say something about R&D. R&D is important for developing a vaccine that we need to spend money in that. And if you see that R&D capability is not available all over the world. It is available with some countries, some pharma companies, and they have used this R&D capabilities. And at the same time, it is not just a R&D capabilities. They have used the public research. They have used the public funding. The government is also funding them. They have used the modern technology and innovation systems. They have also used the competitions. Basically, they have developed new technology, these vaccines, and they are using this also to gain over and become more dominant players. So it's a important to understand this, and there are all these vaccines are protected by the patents. There are even industrial design, there are copyrights, even the trade secrets are also important. That's why when we are that a movement has been started, even India has submitted its proposal to WTO along with South Africa. The idea was that it should be all the technology related to vaccine should be made patent free. And the latest proposal that has been submitted by India and South Africa, it is that all these things should be suspended for 3 years. And in the latest this WTO meeting on 8th and 9th June, they discuss also, and ultimately the final agreement was that they will negotiate on the tax base, the negotiation on the tax that has been submitted by India and South Africa, which has been supported by more than 100 countries also. So this is also, I mean, basically there are so many things which are being used to protect vaccines. So understanding that is also important. It's not easy because the people who are opposing this type of movement, they are saying this developing a vaccine is not easy. It requires a very sophisticated technologies. It requires, and it has been developed by spending a lot of money. They are saying that why they are opposed. Some of these, the big pharma and the countries they are opposing. They are opposing. They are saying that basically all this they have spent a lot of money, and that they need to get back that money also. So when they make this patent free, they will not be able to get that money. But it is not a fact. And another point they are saying is that it will stifle innovations. The post COVID innovations will suffer because of this, because of the companies and the innovators and the entrepreneurs, they will lack initiative to spend more money for developing vaccines. But all these things are not that relevant. They are saying, because at the same time the people are saying a lot of money has been invested, public money has been invested, and we are not saying that if you waive these conditions for all the times to come, you waive it. It's a public emergency. It's a global public crisis, public health crisis. So generally, even in the WTO also there is a provisions that whenever this type of thing is there, that waivers can be made, that they can negotiate, they can submit, and they can decide on. So this is R&D is very important. R&D capabilities are very important, and the politics is because not every country has R&D capabilities. So because few countries have a R&D capabilities, that's why it is becoming it's a very big issues, and then it has an implication for a country like India that we need to strengthen our R&D. Even in case of very recently, on 18th June, America has also, America is looking at the future. They are looking at that in the future also there will be a new threats to this viruses also, and they have allocated 3.2 billion dollars for the future development of this, and this money will be given to the universities, institute, and all this. So this R&D is becoming important, and because when I said that virus is mutating, biowarfare threat is there, bioterrorism threat is there. So there is a need for developing that capabilities so that whenever the new virus will come, you can develop this vaccine also. So that especially for a country like India, it is very important because ours is a very huge population, say 1.3 billion. We cannot be dependent on others. So otherwise, we will be exploited as the China is exploiting others. So we need to strengthen our capabilities. Similarly, about the manufacturing also. In the manufacturing also, there are major players. Major player is again this India is there, China is there, US is there, UK is there, and Russia is there. These are the some very big major players. But at the same time, the information is around 80% of the vaccines which are being developed in the world is that capacity is in the developing countries. So developing countries has a capabilities, they have a capacity, that capacity need to be strengthened. So there is a need to tap that this capabilities also to increase the supply of vaccine. So again, here also the issue is the same. How it is possible? It is possible both through the collaboration contact also, and it should be that all these existing vaccine holders they will give this, or at the same time, one very important thing is that it should be made patent free. That the TRIPS related rights should be suspended for 3 years, and these companies having some facilities should be allowed. Many of these companies they are not interested. They are saying that they lack that capabilities. It requires a very sophisticated manufacturing capabilities. But the reality is there are many manufacturing facilities which can be strengthened to increase supply. Even in India also there are around 25 companies they can produce this vaccine. So a lot of facility is there. That facility need to be used, and that is possible when we'll go for a patent free and this and TRIPS waiver is there. So that will allow, that will give a incentive to these, and the government also will also help them, and it will be beneficial for this. About the access, basically when we have a vaccine, there is a waiver, we have a manufacturing capabilities, we can increase the supply, and then this the access can be increased. Here this global players they are also playing very important role, and some of these companies who are not interested to share, they are saying we are donating and we are giving at a concessional rate vaccines, and this OVAX is playing a very important role. But all this they need to work together. Supply is very important. Basically, they are saying as the economists report, the IMF's report, saying that the total gain will be when we provide safe and effective vaccines to all the people in the country, in the world. At the earliest, the economic gain will be to the extent of $9 trillion. So they are emphasizing at the earliest possible we should have this access of these vaccines to the people so that the economic revival will take place, and there will be no future, or that we can minimize the risk of this the lives, etc. So that is what he is saying. So that require that supply should be increased, and that is possible when we will go for TRIPS waivers and this patent free. Also, the technology should be transferred to all these the companies who have a manufacturing capabilities. Only then it is possible. So basically, you see that the issue is of a trip capability is there, capability can be strengthened. The rich countries they need to support this the companies also, so that more production takes place, and they can increase the supply. So all these things, this R&D, manufacturing, access, all these things are very important. Wherever there is a hurdle, that hurdle should be taken care of. So the wherever there is a politics, we should understand that politics. We should overcome that politics. So I think with these words I will stop. It's a our Professor Mittals is here. He will also add. He is also speaking. He is a part of very important this UAM, this universal access to vaccines and medicine is a part of that. There is he is a part of this Swadeshi Chhot Sansthan also, and he is taking a lot of initiative. number of programs has been organized. Very recently, there was a foreign correspondence interviews also where Professor Rajkumar Mittalji was there. Before that, there has been a very important seminar also where we all this, even there was a one Congress, U.S. congressman was there, many professors from outside the countries and US were there. So basically, this moment is taking place where we are increasing awareness. We are asking for patent-free this patent-free vaccines. So everyone need to join together to in this efforts and in movement. Thank you. Unmute yourself.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Ma'am, you are on mute. Seema ma'am, you are on mute.
Thank you so much, sir. It was indeed enlightening to hear different perspectives of geopolitics of vaccine from you. So there are two questions on the chat box. If you permit, can I take it?
Oh yes, well, I think it should be first you listen to Professor Vittal also.
Okay, then we will
combine
the questions together.
some of the questions will be common to both.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I will take in the end. Okay, so thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate the efforts of universal access for vaccine and medicine institute and Swadeshi Show Sansthan for creating awareness amongst all the youngsters. Thank you so much, sir. So it's my privilege now to introduce our second speaker, Professor Rajkumar Mittal. Professor R.K. Mittal is the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Chaudhry Bansilal University, is an economist and management educationist having 30 years of experience in teaching, research, and academic administration in institutions of higher learning. He has been founder, Vice Chancellor of Tirthankar Mahavir University, Moradabad, Director Development and NAC Coordinator and Dean, University School of Management Studies at Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University. Professor Mittal holds PhD, MPhil, MA, and BCom from Kurukshetra University and subsequently obtained MBA from Indira Gandhi National Open University. Professor Mittal has guided 15 PhD scholars and about 150 MBA projects. He has 110 papers in national and international journals and conference proceedings. He has delivered more than 100 invited talks and organized around 50 workshops. He has also co-authored 6 books. Professor Mittal is actively associated with academic bodies such as Indian Economic Association, All India Management Association, Global Institute of Academic Associations such as Indian Economic Association, I'm repeating, I think, Global Institute of Flexible System Management, NAC and NBA. He is also in the management board of various academic institutions. In recognition of his significant contribution to teaching, research and corporate life of the university, Professor Mittal has been conferred with the Best Teacher Award in 2002 by Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, Delhi. Welcome you, sir, to the Kalinde College. Over to you, sir.
Thank you and good morning to you all. Respected Principal Dr. Naina Hasija ji, Professor V.K. Kaul ji, convener of this webinar, Dr. Seema Gupta ji, other organizers and participants and faculty of this prestigious Kalindi College, University of Delhi. At the outset, I thank the college for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to interact and share my thoughts on this very important topic of geopolitics of vaccine, access, R&D and manufacturing. Professor V.K. Kaul ji, who is our friend and working together on this issue as well as on many issues relating to national importance, and he has been playing a very key role in understanding this topic and developing strategy and building a pressure on the decision makers in WTO and other bodies for having a patent free regime, or you can say suspending patents for 3 years time as he has mentioned, And I think on this very important topic, whereby the need is to enhance the supply of the vaccines, Professor Paul has, explained the different dimensions of the problem. And patenting is one issue, but more important equally is the R&D, the know-how, technology, and developing the skills. But the most important he has explained in detail is the geopolitics, which is because the world is full of asymmetric or asymmetries, and in this world where asymmetric information prevails, geopolitics is bound to take place. We all know the case of Ukraine, which is a supporter of, you can say, United States of America, and therefore, when this during this COVID, he was facing the difficult situation due to ban on export of vaccines by Trump administration. The vaccine could not be supplied to this, and ultimately uh, it was supplied by China, and China and Russia are almost on the same, you can say, page, and therefore it is a Trump administration or US administration failure, which is a reflection of how geopolitics becomes important. Now, instead of, I think, repeating the things, I would be more touching upon the issue of waiver of patent, and you can say relaxation in TRIPS, trade related investment, protection of investment, sorry, trade related, sorry, it is intellectual property rights, sorry, a relaxation in intellectual property laws, which is covered under TRIPS, and more specifically in the case of patents. Now the issues are threefold. One is how to enhance the supply of vaccine, how to uh, provide the vaccine at an affordable rate, and how it is equally distributed throughout the world. And if we go into the history of this patent system or TRIPS agreement, uh, when it came into existence from 1st of January 1995 in different stages, then we find that under this multinational corporations, big corporates, developed country, they forced the developing countries to sign this. Originally, they were not in favor of this TRIPS agreement into the process WTO, but corporates and developed countries they forced, and they allude the developing countries that they will be given access to the market, relaxation in textile, agriculture sector. They made use of threats, sanction, all means they use so that these provisions came into the WTO ambit. And therefore, this from the beginning itself, it has been a sort of controversial type of thing. And the issue is like waiver basically means suspending the implementation of the TRIPS patent system or TRIPS, you can say, provisions for a specified period of time. And it is a sort of granting legal sanction to the legal sanction that whatever being done during this transitory or waiver time will not be ultimately challenged in court of law, or that will not be challenged in the WTO. So in that context, if we look at the arguments which is given against this waiver by the developed countries and by the multinationals is that it will stifle, it will hinder the research and innovation, and at the same time, it will not improve the supply of vaccines, as is the argument given by the developing countries. So this is the crux of the problem, that it will hinder or retard innovation and research activities. And secondly, even if they are, if it is granted, then the supply will not increase, or the benefit will not be, you can say, reaped by the uh, you can say manufacturers in the developing country. Now, and this is one argument, and the second argument is given is that even in the existing provisions of the WTO, there are certain flexibilities. And if those flexibilities are used, then also we can think of, you can say, increasing the supply of these vaccines. So these are two, three arguments. But if you look at the first issue, that it will not, it will not, this waiver will not help the developing countries, or they don't have the capacity to manufacture the vaccine. That is true that they have little capacity, but as pointed out by Professor V.K. Golji, that 80% of the manufacturing of vaccine is in the Asian region, and even the Serum Institute of India and EFSAN of South Africa, they have collaborated with the other company wherever voluntary license is being given, and they have, you can say, improved the supply of this vaccine. So they can, they can, if I mean, the facilities is given, or the favorable treatment is given to the manufacturing companies of these countries. So this is not, you can say, true. Now, if you look at the provision, Article 9.3 of TRIPS agreement, then it says that under exceptional circumstances, a waiver can be given under WTO, and that has to, first of all, to be approved by the TRIPS Council, and then General Council, and then ultimately the Ministerial Conference. So whatever being approved just now by the TRIPS Council, now it would be text-based discussion would take place in the General Council, and then finally Ministerial Council. So ultimately, the approval of the India and South African proposal has to be approved by the, you can say, Ministerial Conference, and therefore it may take time. The our proposal was submitted on 2nd of October 2020, and it has taken, I think, 6, 7, 8 months. So with you can say halfway we are, and many of the big companies, MNC transmission corporations, and many countries, Switzerland, Norway, and other, Japan, etc., they are opposing, still opposing. So the, you can say, the I mean, the path for early waiver is not so easy, and therefore we have to build up the pressure. Already the Nobel laureates and other alliances are making effort in this in direction, and even Swadeshi Jagran Manch forums, they have also created a lot of pressure for early, you can say, decision on this matter. So what I was speaking is that Article 9.3 of the TRIPS agreement, it permits under exceptional circumstances the waiver of this patent and other rules of this, you can say, provision. And as far as the exceptional circumstances are concerned, we all understand that COVID has created so much disequilibrium in the society, as pointed out by Professor Paul as well, that huge loss to economic activity, maybe IMF and other estimates suggest 5%, 7%, you can say, loss of economic activities, huge loss of employment in different countries, and socially a lot of problems are there. Medical infrastructure cost that has also gone up. So huge disequilibrium is created, and no time is as, you can say, sort of difficult time as we are facing, or the world is facing. So therefore, this is a fit case for waiver under the WTO. Now, even otherwise, under this article, uh, waiver could be granted in case of public non-commercial use, when the waiver is given for non-commercial use by the government. So this could also be given, and in the past also this has been given, you can say. Now, the other is the voluntary, you can say, license, as has happened in case of AstraZeneca, whereby this Serum Institute of India, this has been given the voluntary license to manufacture this Covishield. So, if a company who is the patent holder, they voluntarily decide to give the license to the other generic manufacturers of drugs or then I think it will serve. So this is the best solution if you voluntarily can get the license, but this is not happening. Then there is a situation of this compulsory licensing. Now, if we look at the working of the compulsory licensing, then we find that the procedure is very cumbersome. Earlier, a country has a small, you can say, population base. It cannot export. It was, and under this Doha agreement, exporting was allowed. But also, then also there is an issue that it has to be a specific country where we will export. Scaling up is an issue. Then we have to give a different tag or color to that medicine that for that very particular year. So procedure or implementation of compulsory licensing in that way appears to be little difficult. And then when we get even if we get a compulsory license of a technology like mRNA, the recently used by Pfizer and this Moderna. Now, this manufacturing activities require hundreds of components, and which would be available from hundred of different countries, which again are patented. So therefore, you have to get the patent relaxation or go to the system whereby you have to first apply and then exhaust the channel and then get the license. So hundred of countries you have to approve. Therefore, it will make the system whole very complex. So working from that point of view also is very difficult. And then there is always a threat that sanctions would be used by the developed country. Like even in case of, look at, there is one case in India where this what you call Kolji, it was Bayer's case. Yeah. Even in case of India, there this compulsory license was given to, and it is a case of Bayer. Yeah.
I think there.
Yeah. So even then, in this case also, NATCO ultimately compulsory license was given, but the government at that time, Dr. Manmohan Singh, he was under so much severe threat and pressure from the American that it has to be an ultimately controller of drugs. Then he has to quit, and never again we thought of granting the compulsory license. So the developed country may, you can say, use sanctions or threat or cut aid, and therefore desist, a country has to desist from using this compulsory licensing provision. So therefore the option of compulsory licensing as is advocated very frequently is difficult in developing countries, and therefore the option of patent waiver, this is a better option for scaling up the production of manufacturing in the developing countries so that it is easily accessible. We need 50 billion doses, but as on date, I think 2.5 billion doses being manufactured. There is a huge supply gap. The Latin America and other developing countries, they have very little access, and all developed countries, they have vaccinated more than 50% of their population. They have the production manufacturing by Moderna, and this Pfizer. They received so much, you can say, pre-orders, and almost you can say the chances of getting access to the poorer countries, weak country, appears to be on a lower side. So this is another problem, and that the another argument given by uh, these big companies, that it will affect their R&D innovation, because their profits would be suffered. But if you look at the data which is there, then we find that already Pfizer in 2021, they earned profit to the extent of $15 billion. Moderna already have earned profit to the extent of $18.4 billion in 2021, and moreover, we have to keep in mind that, as pointed out by Professor V.K. Kolji also, that they are developing this vaccine on the public money support. Whether it is case of USA, they got public funds to the support of public funds to the extent of $12 billion. India also supported. Further, the trials, the you can say the collaborations, support, they are getting from throughout the world. It is not that it is their own facilities on the basis of which they are developing the vaccines, and therefore it is a sort of collaborative efforts. The trials are in the underdeveloping countries. Whose people are these if they don't get the vaccine? Funds they are getting from the government. Already there is a huge demand. There will not be any shortage of demand in the time to come. They already have some assured returns with them. So return is not a problem. So return is not a problem, and therefore their argument that it will reduce their profit and then further innovation capability, I think these are not tenable argument in the present circumstances, where the real issue is the safety of all. No one is safe until everybody is safe, and health must be given precedence over the profit of these companies. And therefore, I think we have to support, create a pressure, and surely that R&D becomes important, then geopolitics also become important, equally important. But at the same time, if I would like to say that patent waiver or relaxation of TRIPS is a essential condition. Other conditions are equally important. If you fulfill that condition early, then it will give a sort of, or create a sort of environment whereby the manufacturers in the developing countries as well will speed up their manufacturing facilities, and this will avoid them to face the future litigations in the WTO and the sanctions and threat by the developed countries, and the muscle power which these big companies have to avoid all these things. Let us, I think, these bodies should early decide on the matter, and we all through these seminars and discussion create the pressure on the different international agencies for early decision on this matter. So I think I have made my point clear. A lot of issues have already been discussed, so I think I should stop here. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak on this very important topic. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your vision. I'm sure it will be helpful to all the listeners to understand the issue of geopolitics of vaccine at this platform, waivers and licensing and everything. We are grateful, sir, that you accepted our invitation. Thank you so much, sir. Now I invite Dr. Trendita Srivastava for a formal. Sir, can we take one or two questions now, or is it okay?
I think Professor Cole is the right person to answer every question.
I think only one of you can give. It's just two questions are there on the chat box. The first question is from Dr. Prempal Singh. Can India afford hoarding, vaccine nationalism, and rigid patent adherence in the face of a global emergency?
कौन सा?
No, India is not interested. You see, India believes in Vasudev Kutumbakam. We take the world as a family. That is our motto. And you see that we have been, even India has been giving and exporting this vaccine. Only it was at the time of second wave we stopped that. So we are not interested in nationalism of vaccines or hoarding of this. It is a developed country. They have, you see that the record is that the US and the UK and others, they have been hoarding this vaccine as high as 600%. So their requirement is just something, and they have been holding more than 6 times. India is not interested in that. You see that the reality is that India is interested in promoting this, and we are the largest producer, and that's why we have taken up this. That if the trip waiver is there, the number of our Indian companies, they can come up and they can increase the supply. So we are not interested. We believe in Vasudev Kutumbakam. We are interested. We are taking. You see that we have taken in this cause, right? And all these efforts are because our thinking, our culture is completely different. So we are not interested in that. We are Vasudev Kutumbakam.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your answer. Sir, एक क्वेश्चन है, but I think it is from Dr. Abhishek. कि सफल वैक्सीन नीति के लिए भारत सरकार का धन्यवाद. मेरा प्रश्न है कि 2021 में आई यह लहर क्या भारत पर जैविक हमला था? यदि है तो जैविक आतंकवाद से हम अपने आप को कैसे बचाएंगे?
असल में ये बड़ा डिफिकल्ट है. पूरा WHO लगा हुआ है इसके अंदर. लगी हुई है कि जैविक है कि नहीं है. हम तो लगता है कि बेसिकली मानते हैं कि ये वायरस वुहान से शुरू हुआ, और हमारी जो ज्यादातर मेजॉरिटी आजकल यही बिलीव कर रही है. कई तरह की रेवलेशन है कि जो वहाँ पर जो डेलिबरेटली तो नहीं कहा जा सकता, उस वहाँ नेग्लेक्ट हुआ जिसकी वजह से ये रिलीज हुई. तो ये फ्यूचर में हो सकता है, इस समय नहीं कहा जा सकता. बहुत डिफिकल्ट है मेजर करना और डिक्लेयर करना. फ्यूचर में हो सकता है. इसके लिए मैंने भी जैसे कहा कि हमको इसके लिए तैयारी करनी है, और ये डेवलपिंग ए वैक्सीन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. हमारा R&D नेटवर्क बहुत स्ट्रेंथ करने की जरूरत है. और आज न्यू जो मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजी है, बेसिकली यू सी वैक्सीन डेवलप करने में जो पुराना अगर रिकॉर्ड देखें तो 10 to 15 ईयर्स लगते थे. इस बार जो विद इन ईयर्स टाइम ये कर दिया गया, तो इसमें काफी न्यू मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज किया गया, नई टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलप किया गया. पास्ट जो रिकॉर्ड जो था, जो सार्स का और वर्स का, इस तरह की जो वायरसेस हैं उनको डेवलप करने की जो वैक्सीन थी, उस सब नॉलेज को यूज करके इमीडिएटली किया गया. लॉट ऑफ एफर्ट्स हैज happened. We need to learn that. We need to develop lot of capabilities. India is in a better position. 7 new vaccines are coming. Genon is one of the companies. They are coming up with the messengers RNA technology also. They are at the first try. So India को अपनी डेवलप करने की जरूरत है. अब ये होगा नहीं होगा, ये तो बड़ा डिफिकल्ट है. दोस्ती भी नहीं है.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there is a comment from our student Akansha on the chat box. I like it, so I want to read it. He very well put together, sir, presenting why it is important to be a human in such times rather than thinking about profit. So I like this comment, so I wanted to just read it out.
He has very rightly pointed out, and this is the need that we have to give a preference to being human than to think of profit. Profits can otherwise later be, you can say, earned.
Yes, sir. So thank you so much, Professor Paul and Professor Mittal. So before we move to the formal vote of thanks, Dr. Naina, do you want to say anything?
I don't want to say anything, but I just want to say that I salute all the teachers of Kalindi today, that they really wanted to listen, on this topic, and all of them have joined. I'm so sorry, I'm feeling bad कि वो Google पे join नहीं कर पा रहे थे, many of them. But Professor Paul, आप देख लीजिए, आपने इतना बढ़िया टॉपिक चुना और मतलब सबने join किया है, सबने. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. सच में.
फ्यूचर में भी ऐसे ही करेंगे, क्योंकि ये इशू विल कंटिन्यू.
Actually continue. Yes, sir. Thank
तो
you.
प्रसाद इनके लिए clappings.
Thank you, Professor Mittal. Thank you, sir.
सभी के लिए
thanks.
Now I request Dr. Triandita Srivastava for the formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Myself, Dr. Triranjita Srivastava. It is a great pleasure for me to propose the vote of thanks to all who have helped us in making this webinar such a resounding success. First of all, I propose a hearty vote of thanks to our honorable speakers, Professor R.K. Mittal and Professor V.K. Kaur, for their excellent, thought-provoking talks. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to express profound gratitude to our principal ma'am, Dr. Nana Hasija, for her constant support and encouragement. I thank Dr. Seema Gupta, convener of this program, the organizing committee members, Dr. Savita Sharma and Mr. Ankur Anand, for their tireless work. A special thanks to Mr. Vinay for making this event a success. Finally, a lot of thanks to the wonderful participants, staff members, and students who turned up in such a large number. Thanks, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kaul ji. Thank
So,
you, ma'am.
thank you, नमस्कार सभी को नमस्कार प्रणाम.
को नमस्कार.
Namaskar, sir.